which is quite interesting. Um, I did not dig into that yet. I did want to show it was a mildly close primary. The runoff and the original. It seemed to be that she if you look at this, so they had a runoff, of course. So her primary, she got 43,813 votes, and she got about the same amount in the original primary. Everybody else went to John Cowan. Um, it was rather you wanted this chick or you wanted anybody else. Was essentially what happened in there. And so, politics is all about trying to unite people and trying to, get both sides to eventually agree with you because you want more, you want independents to vote for you. You want possible people that are reasonable on the other party to see you as an honest person and to vote for you. I've never read the key messages, but I have to read all three of these. These are fantastic. She's interesting. So Greene said her key messages that she put on Ballotpedia as her key financial messages. Greene said, I'm a conservative wife, mother of three, and businesswoman in the construction industry who stands with President Trump and against the left-wing socialists who want to wreck our country. Okay. Yeah, all right. Socialists wreck our country. Most programs that have kept our country for what you would call solid strength, like Social Security, Medicare. These are socialist programs. So are police, so are firefighters. Those are socialist programs. So those are the military. Okay. Greene stated, I am running to stop gun control, open borders, the Green New Deal, and socialism. Because saving our environment, fuck you. Gun control, yeah, gun control, no fucking way. We got to have every weapon we can have. Pew pew pew. There's reasonable guns. It's just, yeah, and that like we're not allowed to have rocket launchers. What are we gonna do when the government shows up and hits you with rocket launchers? Come on, Bob. What are you doing, Bob? Sorry, all I can hear is Hugo's voice in my head because the Stam Cedar and why does it have to be Hugo? Her final statement. Greene's campaign said radical socialists want Americans on the same government-run healthcare plan with welfare recipients and illegal immigrants, and the same ones everybody gets when they're 65, 67, 73, 85, whatever. Marjorie Greene is fighting against these radical socialists and will take a fight to Congress. So calling somebody radical in every single one of your freaking statements doesn't exactly show that you're trying to unify anybody. You're not trying to win anybody over. You're not trying to listen to anybody else's ideas. You have put yourself in a bubble, and you are. I don't care about conspiracy theories. I don't care about what crazy crap you believe. You put yourself in a bubble that you only will listen to people that agree with you, and you ostracize anybody that's outside of this bubble, and you blame them for things, and this is what's wrong. Like I don't care about her beliefs. She is what's wrong with people in the fact that she has completely cut herself and radicalized any beliefs outside of her capital dominant fuck everybody belief, like white supremacist crazy bullshit belief that she has. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Like to have like just this kind of poison. All right. Well, first thing I found on her is that she has possibly violated election laws, and she might not be able to run a second time. I mean, she's currently running campaign financing, but the problem was she was soliciting donations to Stop Socialism Now, a super PAC, but she was saying it in the ads in a misleading way, and so the FEC is supposedly extremely tight on these kind of things. I'm guessing it's like they say they're like CNN says they're extremely tight, and then we look at it and go, holy crap! It doesn't matter what you do; you can do whatever you want. Well, So supposedly she's going to have some problems running, and that's why Trump has backed off supporting her and let her kind of get further away from them. So whenever I look at somebody, I just want to know where their money came from. Her big contributors were Republicans, conservative think tanks, PACs, and mega donors. So all the same people that would donate to any other hard right are donating to her. It's massive billionaires, and they've given her the platform to be the antithesis to AOC, essentially. MTG is the antithesis to AOC. She's allowed to be crazy right, and they're going to feed her tons of money because they want her in there. But she's already gotten hit for taking money in a wrong way, and she might not run again. So she got wild with it. She don't care. And of course, this still is having a hard time catching up to the. But her contributors, I looked up, show you. Her contributors, House Freedom Fund. So the House Freedom Fund, her number one contributor by 10 times more than anybody else. These are 8 times more than anybody else. This is a one-time Republican PAC where they get you in the door on your first campaign, and they only push the furthest of right. You have to be strict, just right down the right. You have to push hard for these divisive issues. Like, you actually have to be part of these divisive issues because they want people in there to be divisive. That's what they want. It's so ridiculous. Back with electric, sounds like, a neighborhood electric company. It's actually like a massive conglomerate electric company that sells things to like other electric companies. DTS, same kind of situation. They're actually a conglomerate, not a small-time company. These are massive, massive companies here. And then Evans Construction Company, because of course, like I said, her family's in construction. She actually is independently wealthy for operating and selling a fitness place, and then she became independently wealthy, and then they did construction. So, she made it herself by abstracting wealth from people who need homes and probably charging them more than she needs to charge. Good on you. Hooray for you. And being a right-winger, she's not great on cannabis. Go figure, she's not a big supporter of our cannabis club here. She's not okay with the ending of it, the prohibition of it federally, or expending cannabis convictions, reinvesting in communities impacted by the war on drugs. She's okay with legalizing adult use and medical use, but not okay with the VA to recommend cannabis. And that is always, like I said, a big F you to you. Like, you're okay with our troops just not getting the medicines that they need. And you're not okay with cannabis banks, businesses using banks, which is, again, ridiculous. Like, you guys are supposed to be capitalism. And that's the number one like, you're against vets and you're against banks, capitalism. So that doesn't exactly fare well for you. But as I said at the beginning, I don't really know her. And I don't try to exhaust myself into the crazinesses of the far right. So let's take a dive, a deep dive. She had a clip recently. That's why I was told to check her out. And I got to check this out from a outside source because if I use mainstream media, they throttle me. So I have not seen this yet. I have not watched Ring of Fire in quite a long time. They are under the TYT network band. He is one of the more tolerable people that does a show under their network. I'm not even sure if they're still on their network, honestly.
Little low budget, and did an interview on a local Georgia station called UCTV that also happened to be a call-in show. And one of the callers took the opportunity to let Marjorie Taylor Greene know exactly what she thinks of her. Take a look at this caller going off on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here it is.
Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say thank God for Joe Biden. She is an embarrassment to the state of Georgia.
Well, we all have our opinions.
Amen to that, and I've got mine.
All righty, thank you.
I love how Marjorie Taylor Greene just kind of sits there and awkwardly smiles and just kind of takes the abuse because she's not exactly used to people calling her out like that. And that's why this needs to happen more often. Then, of course, the host is like, well, everybody's in.
That's funny that he says that. I literally know nothing about her, and I just assumed by the way her opinions are expressed that she sits in a bubble. And this political analysis agrees with me. Aha.
Entitled to their opinions. Well, sure, everybody is. And I'm glad you didn't try to berate that woman. Of course, I haven't seen what happens after that clip. Maybe you did. But this woman didn't say anything that was wrong. She really didn't even say anything that was that mean. She could have been far more harsh against Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she decided to go the easy route, right? Didn't want to offend her too bad and just said, you're an embarrassment. And that is true. And that is what the people in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district need to understand. I know they love her there, but honestly, think to yourself, what has she done for you other than embarrass you? She hasn't voted for any legislation that would actually benefit you. She hasn't proposed any legislation that would actually benefit you. She doesn't serve on any committees, so it's not like she can go to Congress and help steer more funds towards your district. She is doing nothing for you, but she is doing everything for herself. That's probably why she went on that UC TV show. No offense to the host there, but that's kind of the thing that's typically for a high-profile politician, and unfortunately that's what Grene is. That's the kind of thing that's a little beneath them, right? Most politicians would look at that and say, there's really no point in going on this show. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is so desperate for attention, she will take it anywhere she can get it. And this time she stepped into the wrong one. Never.
Don't think it was that rough. I mean, they didn't hear at all. She just kind of was awkward about it. I thought she was going. I mean,
a good idea to have somebody as polarizing as Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hit with some facts. Hit with some questions. Hit with some, like, how can you? Why are you missing votes? Why are you voting this way? Like, that kind of softball doesn't do anything to anybody. They can roll off that. They know people of that sort know that they get polarized. Emotional responses.
Take live phone calls on the air. You're going to end up with individuals that call her out, and rightfully so. This woman who called in, again, was 100% correct. And I guess maybe it is a good thing that Grene decided to go on this show because, yeah, this is a local Georgia show. Her voters likely watched this. And maybe it opened a couple people's eyes. I don't think it's going to change enough minds to get her out of office, but maybe just a couple people here and there. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw she's in a 70% red district, so it's going to be a Republican primary or not a Democrat taking her out.
That's the best we can hope for. If 4 or 5 people watched that and said, you know what, she's right. What is she doing for us? What is going on here? She's traveling the country with Matt Gaetz, or at least she did over the summer. She didn't come here. She's not helping us. She's not doing anything that's going to make our lives better. That is what we want those voters to realize when it comes to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's an embarrassment to them because she's trying to make a name for herself. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget.
Looks like maybe they got out. Hard to tell. He was in the TYT network. He might have got out as well. The Ring of Fire, not so bad of a political commentary there. And I just kind of want to look over her. Like, I try to do this with time frames, so the most recent. And the first things we see when we look up her name on YouTube, and it's all over the board. Cincinnati rally with MTG booed after reported flood of complaints. Like I said, she evokes an emotional response. So that is going to get negative and positive. So it's going to get you kicked out of some places. Somebody's calling, some guy in a beard's calling her a Christian terrorist. That's fun. Somebody covering what we just saw, someone covering what we just saw, someone covering what we just saw, what we just saw, what we just saw, what we just saw. here is somebody doing a video on it doesn't say Democrat, trying to take out her. Again, this was a 70-30 area. That's not usually something that's going to be completely reversed. I mean, I guess maybe he knows the area. Maybe he knows how to find a loophole there, but it's not very likely a Democrat's going to flip that area that far. Chew out, really? See, this is like roasted. I mean, roasted. Roasted, Sam Cedar, roasted. So, like, it's this whole, like, I felt like that was pretty casual, and I mean, it's not really worth, there's literally a dozen clips on here about it. It's not really worth that. I mean, it was okay, whatever. She has freaks outs that were way more interesting. Seeing that, like, kind of like crazy person in the glimmer of her eye. She loves Alex Jones. That's fun. So there is a Republican challenger. That's fun. Oh, same person under a different channel. The guy that just did, yeah, so he must be under QIT's network still. At odds. So there was one down here, this was a while ago when I looked her up, that had something about Trump's trying to distance herself because of that whole income, satanic racist. Yeah, her last talk, like he was just saying when she doesn't do anything, her last talk on the Hill was the Georgia Bulldogs winning a national title for college football. And before that, literally I didn't see another one. Like when I looked earlier today, I didn't see her on the floor of DC, and we're going back 3 weeks now. She does have a lot of clips. She has a lot of people talking about her. She evokes a response. And the fact people voted for her is kind of disgusting, but I don't know how they campaigned for her. She had Koch brothers money in there. She had, massive super PACs and electric general, not General Electric, but big electric companies. So I don't know what kind of commercial and ground game they had, but she got elected, and she's not doing anything because, again, there's nothing on here on C-SPAN from her being on the House and talking, except for rooting for the team